in a different light, from Devontae Smith-Pelly in Chicago in February 2018 to Wayne Simmons in London in 2012, Ontario that is, old racial ideologies have been rampant in hockey culture. What are your feelings toward the systemic racism that's been seen throughout the game, all the way down through from the NHL all the way down to the minors?
Well, I think it's sad. I think it's sad. You know, it's 2019. We're
Yeah.
almost on to 2020, and these incidents still happen. There was, we've seen it in lots of sports, certainly not just hockey. You watch, European soccer. It's disgusting,
Yes.
some of the things you see out there. But yeah, once is too many times. And what I think is important now is if you're in a rink and you see or hear something, you got to speak up.
Yep.
You can't just sit there and go, "Oh, that's wrong."
Yeah.
You got to speak up and you're almost complicit if you don't say something and react. And I've been fortunate to not see too much, but I've seen enough to know that when people step up and say it's not wrong, you can shout that down and you can say that's not allowed, in our community and in our sport. And that's how you end things. You take a side. And if you don't take a side, then you're complicit as far as I'm concerned. And it's incumbent on all of us to do our part. When I see little kids, my son is now 13, on not his team, but on other teams, there's been racial things said on the ice, like an 11-year-old saying something racist on the ice. Where are they getting that from? And if the parents aren't, disciplining them after that happens, that's a horrible thing. If the coach isn't disciplining them after that happens.
It's normalizing that behavior and making it acceptable.
Absolutely. So there's no place for that in any sport or in our society, period, and you need to take a stand. So, I definitely, plead with anyone who's in, and it happens often, more in minor hockey games than you might see at the professional level. But there's no space for that in society, period. And I think especially with how polarized things have become, certainly south of the border specifically, I think you need to be really clear that, hey, we need to judge people as individuals and not with racist stereotypes, and we need to be as inclusive and open to every and anyone.